We traveled to Koh Rong, a small island about 25 kilometers off the coast of Cambodia by ferry from Sihanoukville. Known for its powdery white sand beaches and crystal clear water, the island has no airport and very few roads, which helps keep that laid-back, off-the-grid feel. When we arrived, a staff member from our hotel was waiting with a wheeled cart for our luggage. He took off down the beach at a pretty impressive pace, so we mostly just tried to keep up while soaking in our first look at the island. Prices on the island for accommodations are a little on the high side. The resort we chose was older and definitely in need of some renovation, which we were told was planned for the rainy season later this year. It did include a nice breakfast buffet, and the beach access and beautiful water out front were spectacular. The first day we arrived, waters were a little choppy, so we opted to enjoy the lovely pool area instead. That evening, we wandered down the beach for drinks and dinner at the Rock and Reggae Cafe, a toes in the sand kind of place, where I had a delicious seafood hammock and Troy had pad thai. We strolled home along the sand as the sky lit up with a beautiful sunset, taking in a bit of the island's laid-back nightlife along the way. There were several hostels nearby and lots of people keeping busy with ping pong, volleyball, and even some beachside weightlifting. But we decided to stick with our preferred island sport of long walks and aggressive relaxation. After a long and exhausting day of alternating between lounging and dips in the ocean, we rewarded ourselves with a 2-for-1 happy hour Mai Tai before heading over to Pub Street for some pizza. Our dinner spot was strategically chosen though. It was just around the corner from the laundromat where we had to take care of a little housekeeping. Because apparently, even in paradise, the laundry doesn't do itself. The next day, a pretty impressive storm rolled through around midday, sending everyone scrambling for cover. We took refuge in the hotel restaurant, which turned out to be a pretty perfect place to watch the tropical downpour roll across the water. It also gave us a little unexpected downtime for some future trip planning. Later that night, we checked out a Greek restaurant that was surprisingly good, giving us a fun little throwback to our time in the Mediterranean. The next day was departure day, and still a little soggy as we made our way to the ferry. Luckily, it was just a quick hop, about 20 minutes, to the sister island of Koh Rong Sanloem, the smaller and more mellow of the two islands, which sounded right up our alley. From the ferry, we were picked up by boat and escorted to our hotel. There are no cars on the island. Transportation here is mostly by foot, boat, or the occasional motorbike or tractor hauling supplies along the beach. We stayed at Sarah Resort in a cute, modern little bungalow. At just over $100 a night, it was definitely a bit of a splurge for us, though still a pretty good deal by most standards. We figured we'd go a little fancy since we'd be here celebrating my birthday. And the daily breakfast included always helps with the budget. We're taking advantage of the fact that it's a cloudy day on our first day here in Koh Rong Sanloem.
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 Yeah.
We've been saying it wrong the whole time.
Yeah. So we're gonna hike through the island to the other side and go check out some supposedly cool carvings in the rock. So this doesn't really look like a trail, but it's on the maps, so we're gonna go for it.
We passed up the nice paved trail because Troy's map found us this one, so calling it an adventure. We didn't make it very far up the adventure trail before deciding to turn back and stick to the more established path. No need to wrestle with nature more than necessary. The trail winds across the island, passing through the jungle, swaying palms, and hidden streams before emerging on Lazy Beach, a quiet, secluded stretch of sand on the other side of the island with hardly a soul in sight. Just the kind of quiet this island seems to do best. As we continued on from Lazy Beach, we started noticing a fair bit of trash along the trail, along with piles of construction supplies scattered around the island, some of the unfortunate downsides of growing tourism. We had a little trouble following the path, but after consulting with some fellow travelers, we got back on track. In our defense, the humidity and mosquitoes were intense, which did not help our navigation skills. The entrance fee for the carvings is about $2.50 US. The site features several large carvings etched into the rock, including a three-faced figure inspired by the famous Bayon temple faces, a detailed carving of Angkor Wat, an elephant with a rider, and perhaps the most puzzling of all, a man wearing what would look suspiciously like a baseball hat. Obviously not ancient relics, but they were carved into the rock in early 2000s by a local artist as a bit of a hidden attraction for visitors hiking across the island. Our last stop was the beautiful Lazy Point viewpoint to take in some of the vistas of the water and beach below. We headed back towards our hotel and headed to the poolside for some much needed cooling off and relaxation after our hot and strenuous hike. We walked next door for a delicious beachside local seafood dinner before calling it a night. The next morning was clear and sunny, and the ocean was glass-like. Look how crazy this is. I am so far out in this water. It's so shallow and clear and beautiful. That's how far I am from the shore, and I still am only at like waist height here. It's pretty spectacular. Unfortunately, Troy woke up that morning with some stomach issues, possibly food poisoning, so we took it easy for the day, rotating between the pool and the beach. We rounded out the day with a beautiful sunset and a little comfort food before calling it a night. Our days quickly settled into a vacation-like routine. Morning walks along the beach, occasionally interrupted by the island's version of rush hour as tractors and motorbikes squeezed along the narrow strip of sand left at high tide. The rest of the day was happily spent relaxing poolside in the lovely cabanas and cooling off in the calm, crystal-clear ocean. Although the daily routine was simple, this incredible view never got old. We enjoyed dinner right on the beach, where many of the restaurants set up barbecue grills outside. It's a popular scene on both islands, with fresh seafood on display for you to choose from. We picked a red snapper, which came grilled with a few sides, was easily big enough for the two of us, and cost less than $10. That and the chocolate raspberry cheesecake we had for dessert were both absolutely delicious. It also happened to be the night of a lunar eclipse and blood moon, giving us a pretty incredible celestial show right over the ocean during dinner. That was followed by a spectacular fire show on the beach, with performers spinning flaming staffs and fireballs through the air to music, lighting up the shoreline and capping off a pretty magical evening.
It's my birthday dinner. It's actually about 5 days after my birthday.
And that's because yours truly got really sick on the birthday. That morning, in fact.
That morning on my birthday, probably some food poisoning, and
Yep.
it just hasn't quite felt right for this whole trip, unfortunately. So tonight we are celebrating. Troy set up this beautiful beachside romantic dinner for my birthday. So hopefully Troy's stomach can take it and we're gonna enjoy.
Yeah, we are.
We started with cocktails at the bar, which was a bit of a show in itself, as the bartender expertly sliced and prepared fresh passion fruit right in front of us for the drinks. I had to have a little fun channeling my inner Marilyn Monroe, thanks to the glorious and very appreciated fan blowing directly on us. We moved to our table at La Passion Resort, beautifully set right on the beach, where the staff were so warm and welcoming and made the whole evening feel extra special. We enjoyed another spectacular sunset along with a delicious Khmer beef salad to start. As the light faded, our little table glowed in the evening air. Troy chose the grilled sea bass, while I went with one of my local favorites, seafood amok, easily the best I've had on our travels. A personalized dessert wishing me happy birthday capped off a truly fabulous night. The next morning, we got our turn riding on one of the island's tractors as they hauled us and our luggage down the beach to the ferry that would take us off the island.
We're heading out of Koh Rong Sanloem, and we had a beautiful time here. It is an amazing island.
Great. Really loved it.
Unfortunately, because Troy was not feeling well for some of the days, we didn't get to explore and do everything that the island has to offer. So
Didn't love it for those couple of days.
yeah. But good excuse to come back sometime, because there's a lighthouse that you can hike to that's supposed to have some gorgeous views. There's diving. We originally had a dive planned and didn't get to do that. There's snorkel tours. There was a bioluminescent tour that we also had to cancel because Troy wasn't feeling well, and also because then it was the full moon, so you can't see it as well. So lots of things to do and explore, but also we got in a lot of really nice relaxing time.
Yeah, sure did. And recovery time.
And recovery time for some of us.
And we got to celebrate somebody's birthday.
Woo-woo.
And it worked out.
Mhm.